Presented by Boss Mustafa, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Osinbajo expressed delight over the choice of the 60th anniversary theme, Together. The Vice President said Nigeria needed its citizens to love her and help to rebuild the cracks in its walls. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have suspended the strike scheduled to commence today, September 28. These followed an agreement reached with the federal government at a meeting which started at 8:30 p.m. on Sunday and ended at 2:50 a.m. this morning. The meeting agreed to suspend the application of the cost-reflective electricity tariff adjustment for 2 weeks. The NLC President, Ayuba Waba, and his Trade Union Congress counterpart, Quadri Olaleye, amongst others, signed on behalf of organized labor, while the Minister of Labor, Chris Ngige, Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipiri Silva, Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and others, signed on behalf of the government. The parties agreed to set up a technical committee comprising ministries, departments, agencies, NLC, and the TUC. The committee's terms of reference are to examine the justification for the new policy on cost-reflective electricity tariff adjustments, to look at the different DISCOs and their different electricity tariff vis-a-vis NERC, oil and mandates, examine and advise government on the issues that have hindered the deployment of the 6 billion meters, among others. It also noted that the federal government has fashioned out palliatives that would ameliorate the sufferings that Nigerian workers may experience as a result of the hike in cost of electricity tariffs and the regulation of the downstream sector of the petroleum industry. The palliatives will be in the areas of transport, power, housing, agriculture, and humanitarian support. The meeting also resolved that the 40% stake of government in a DISCO and the stake of workers should be reflected in the composition of the DISCO's boards. Elsewhere, the Edo State government has rescheduled the resumption of primary and secondary schools across the state for the 2020-2021 academic session to Tuesday, October 6, 2020. In a statement, Special Advisor to the Edo State Governor on Media and Communication Strategy, Crusoe Usage, said primary and secondary schools in Edo State will resume for the 2020-2021 academic session on the new date as against the earlier announced date, Monday, September 28, 2020. Still in Edo State, the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, has said his victory in the September 19th governorship election is an affirmation by Edo people to enable him continue and intensify the developmental strides across the state in the next 4 years. Governor Obaseki was speaking at a Thanksgiving service on Sunday, organized to celebrate his re-election by the Edo State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. Edo State Chairman of CAN, Bishop Oriname Oyenude Kuri, and President of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, Reverend Felix Omobude, led other ministers of God at the Thanksgiving service themed Great Deliverance to thank God for a peaceful and successful election in the state. The governor assured Edo people that he will continue to embrace peace as he has always done, because sustainable development can only happen in a peaceful Edo state. He added that the election war is over and his responsibility as the state governor is to reunite Edo people, including his brothers from the other side, to enable the reign of peace and development. The governor was at the Thanksgiving service with his wife, Betsy Obaseki, his deputy, Comrade Philip Shaibu, and wife, senior government officials, as well as leaders of the People's Democratic Party. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it has learned from the Edo State governorship election that a free, fair, and credible election will be possible in Nigeria with the cooperation of all stakeholders and the high level of compliance with the extant electoral laws. This was stated by the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC chairman in an interview. He expressed the Commission's gratefulness to the Oba of Benin, security agencies, civil society organizations, the media, National Peace Committee, and development partners for their various roles, which contributed immensely to the peaceful election in Edo State. Oyekomi said two things which were fundamentally different with respect to the Edo governorship election were that it was the first of such election that INEC has ever conducted under a global pandemic, which necessitated the introduction of the policy on conducting elections in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. The second thing he said was the introduction of the INEC results viewing portal, where Nigerians can log in and view election results from every polling unit. Elsewhere, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sent an open letter to President Muhammadu Buhari requesting him to instruct the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, to take immediate steps to prosecute high-profile corruption cases in the country. The rights group also asked the minister to publish details of the whereabouts of allegedly missing case files, as well as the status of prosecution of all the cases being handled by his office. The organization said the high-profile corruption cases include 103 cases reportedly sent by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) in 2017, and the 15 allegedly missing case files sent by the now defunct Special Presidential Investigation Panel on the Recovery of Public Property in 2019 to Malami. In the letter dated 26th of September 2020 and signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadari, the organization said the authorities' failure to diligently prosecute high-profile corruption cases amounts to a fundamental breach of constitutional and international obligations. KUFM's news continues right after this break. Stay with us, please.
Beautiful one, I call on you today.
Bless you.
This not the time of bless you. This season where we say coronavirus, so they show itself for the world there. Now time to use tissue paper or handkerchief. Take cover your mouth or nose when you dey cough or sneeze. This is not time to always wash your hand. Use hand sanitizer where contain better alcohol. This is not time to give ears, as in avoid me, give me space to any person where they cough or sneeze. This is not time to protect yourself or neighbors from sickness. So if you notice anything, sharp, carry yourself or the person go hospital or call this number free of charge. You're not going to collect money for your hand. That is toll-free number for 080 00 26 7662. 080 00 26 7662. You first bring this other number for 080 09 70 00010. Remember, say life now says coronavirus not the show for face, so now person with their life and carry first to this message now from KUFM 92.7. Beautiful one, we call on you today. Come fill this place today. Let your presence dwell amongst us. Ocean divine.
Welcome back. The West African Examinations Council says it has a 45-day timeline from its last paper to release the results of the 2020 Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination. The council said at the weekend that it would keep to 45 days after the last paper was written to release the results and work to meet the deadline. The West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination was taken between August 17th, 2020 and Saturday, September the 12th, which means that the council would release the results latest by 27th October, 45 days after. There are 12 states reporting 126 new COVID-19 cases in Nigeria. This brings the total number of confirmed cases to 58,324. The states with new COVID-19 cases include the Federal Capital Territory with 30 cases, Lagos with 24, Rivers 23, Ogun 13, Katsina and Plateau 9 each, Ondo 6, Kaduna and Kwara 4 each, Imo 2, Bauchi and Edo 1 each. Meanwhile, 72 COVID-19 patients have been discharged across Nigeria in the last 24 hours, with the total number of successfully treated cases now 49,794. Figures from the NCDC show that 2 persons died of COVID-19 related complications in the country, with the national death toll put at 1,108. Former Nigerian ambassador to Venezuela, Senator Felix Oboro, has regained his freedom after spending 23 days in the kidnappers' den upon the reported payment of 11 million naira ransom by his family members. The 75-year-old Oboro, one-time secretary to the Bayelsa State Government and legislator for Bayelsa West Senatorial District, was kidnapped on Friday, September 4th, 2020, at his Ilemebiri hometown in Sagbama local government area of Bayelsa State. The gunmen, numbering about 15, had stormed his residence a day after he arrived at the village, shooting sporadically before taking him away to an unknown destination. The kidnappers demanded a ransom of 50 million naira, which was later reduced to 11 million naira. Tuebi Sapre Obi, The stepson to Oboro, who confirmed the development, said he was released to a 3-man delegation of family members who traveled by boat on the Ayama-Oporoma axis in southern Ijaw Council area. Spokesman of the State Police Command, SP Asinim Butswat, confirmed the development. Meanwhile, 2 suspects arrested by the Bayelsa State Police Command have been released after investigations revealed they were mistakenly called the kidnappers. And from Bayelsa to Lagos, where the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has launched a 5 billion naira COVID-19 recovery support fund in the state. The fund is to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on private schools in the nation's commercial capital. Governor Sanwo-Olu disclosed this via his Twitter handle. According to him, the facility will benefit 2,000 low-cost schools with amounts ranging from 500,000 naira to 5 million naira. Sanwo-Olu noted that his administration provided interventions that would enable learners in schools study in line with the new normal. The move, according to the state government, is to help accelerate a sustainable return to learning and skills acquisition. Coming up in a moment on our business news, Nigerian stock investors book over 380 billion naira gain in 1 week. Goslov Orlando brings you more on our business news bulletin.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business. The gains and the losses. The bulls and bears. The rise and falls. The risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's Business News, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the money market, forecast, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our news dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
Good morning. Nigeria's stock market continued on its upward route throughout the trading days in the week ended Friday, September 25th. The record positives made equity investors in Africa's largest economy witness investment growth of about 389 billion naira. In the review trading week, the gains were largely driven by increased buy sentiment around consumer good and banking stocks as well as industrial goods stocks. The NSE Consumer Goods Index increased by plus 5.99%. NSE Banking Index went up by plus 3.59%. NSE Industrial Good Index increased by plus 2.44%. NSE Oil and Gas Index rose by plus 1.16%, and NSE Insurance Index went up by plus 1.08%. NSE Offshore Index appreciated by 2.92% from week open low of 25,572.57 points to 26,319.34 points at the end of the review week. Also, value of listed stocks increased from 13.365 trillion naira to 13.754 trillion naira. The year-to-date negative return of the market decreased remarkably to minus 1.95%. And finally, on business, the daily foreign exchange turnover declined by 13.44% to $85.43 million on Friday from $98.69 million recorded on Thursday at the Investors and Exporters I&E Forex window. In the absence of any dollar supply at the Bureau de Change (BDC) operators in the country by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) on Friday, Naira maintained stability as the dollar was traded at 465 Naira on the same day on the black market. Naira lost 1 Naira as the dollar was sold for 466 Naira on Friday, as against 465 Naira closed on Thursday on the black market. At the I&E window, Naira remained stable at 386 Naira per dollar for the second consecutive day. Data from the Financial Market Dealers Quotation revealed that the market opened with an indicative rate of 386 Naira 24 kobo, which represents a marginal depreciation when compared with 386 Naira 13 kobo opened with on Thursday. And that's it on business. And now in sports, Miami Heat beat Boston Celtics to reach NBA Finals. Egos Igweka has more on our sports news this morning.
Good morning. The Miami Heat are through to the NBA Finals following a 125 to 113 points win over the Boston Celtics on Sunday night and leads the series 4-2. Center forward Bam Adebayo scored a career-high 32 points, 10 in the fourth quarter, along with 14 rebounds and 5 assists to help the Heat reach the finals, where they will face the Los Angeles Lakers. The team will be led by LeBron James, who played for the Miami Heat the last time the franchise made it this far, 4 seasons in a row from 2011 to 2014. Now to football, where Manchester City midfielder Rodrigo Hernandez said football has not been fair to them after Leicester City inflicted the biggest home defeat on Pep Guardiola as Blues manager at Etihad on Sunday. Jamie Vardy scored a hat-trick and the hosts considered it 3 penalties in the 5-2 defeat, which put the Forces top of the Premier League. The result came despite Guardiola's side dominating possession and having 16 shots to Leicester's 7. With strikers Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus not due back from injury until after the October international break at the earliest, Guardiola needs to find a solution to the club's attacking issues. England international Raheem Sterling did not threaten in the first 9 role, and 17-year-old Liam Delap struggled after being given his Premier League debut as a substitute early in the second half. In another Premier League encounter, West Ham United defeated Wolverhampton Wanderers 4-0. And finally now to the transfer market, where Manchester City have agreed a deal to sign Portugal defender Ruben Dias from Benfica for £65 million. City's Argentina centre-back Nicolas Otamendi, age 32, will go the other way for about £13.7 million in a separate transfer. Manager Pep Guardiola has wanted the right-sided central defender since Vincent Kompany retired last summer. On Sunday night, Benfica released a statement confirming the 2 transfers, but said contracts still need to be signed by the players. Dias, who is age 23, was captain for Benfica's win over Moreirense on Saturday and hugged teammates and sporting director Rui Costa at the final whistle. And that's sports news on KUFM's News Dawn. My name is Egosa Agbeka. And back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Egosa, for those sports stories. And of course, with those stories, we come to the end of our package this morning. But before we leave, let's do a quick recap of the headlines. Labour have suspended the planned strike as the federal government has reversed electricity tariff hike. Edo State government has shifted the resumption of primary and secondary schools to October 6th. And WAEC to release 2020 SSCE results late October. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Coronavirus is real. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water. Use your face masks while in public and stay safe. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Blessing Asekome. I am Charles Oporum saying thanks for listening and good morning.
92.7 KUFM News. Concise, precise, balanced, unbiased.
We are live from Benin City to the world. This is 92.7 KUFM News Dawn.